Hello, what's up, everybody, and welcome to the Carlotta Chatwod Show. I am back tonight because I realized that some of y'all didn't get the show, didn't hear the first show. It cut off, and you guys didn't even hear, like, a lot of people telling me they didn't hear my answer about Janet and Maxwell. I did record another show, and so it's up on YouTube for you guys to look at. But I'm going to I'm going to recap tonight, okay? Some of the things I talked about and everything, I'm going to try to recap. It's going to be kind of a messy show because I don't really have any script in front of me, so I'm going to do what I can. Okay? Okay, you guys, listen. Oh my God. It's been a crazy day for me. It's been a busy day. But I've been good. Can you believe we're already at Thursday? I mean, we're Thursday morning, early morning. The time is moving so fast. I hear this is the shortest day of the year. We're going to talk about that a little bit later too, into the show. People are saying this is the shortest day, and that the Earth will speed up after this. Very interesting. Okay, so we'll talk about that. I want to first start off with talking about Essence Fest because y'all have been on Essence, man, on Essence, but here's what I think you guys are missing a really big part of. And I just listened to this young lady tonight. I like her. She seems to be really good. But one of the things she said is she was talking about she didn't want to put out, like, give a negative energy towards, talking about the diaspora and stuff like that. That's not what I'm doing. To confront what we're seeing happening in America, we have to really, it's going to sound like we're being gatekeepers, and we, in a sense, have to be. I don't think most people, and most black people, not all of us, most black people in America, that we don't understand what is happening in the global world, globalism, and what it sets out to do. I don't think we understand it. I don't think we have a complete whiff of it. I don't think we have gotten it. And even how it's being used in America, and how our culture has been used to set the stage for globalism in ethnos, right? In ethnicity, especially in black ethnicity. So let me see. I think Essence put out something tonight, and I think I'm gonna try to look it up here. Hold on, you guys. Let me see if I can find it. Um, okay, what I think the ownership of Essence becoming Essence magazine, becoming hold on, let me see, owned by people that are other than Black Americans. I think that's really, I mean, that's part of the issue, but that's really not the bigger issue at large that we have. And I really think one group that I really think speaks to it is American descendants of slaves, ADOS, Yvette Carnell, and people, they tend to they really have been talking about this for a while now, and so FBA talks about certain things too. But ADOS really has a understanding politically of what is happening on the larger scale with Black Americans, and how what's going on is that there's some groups that are being used in America to and it's, I love what Yvette says. She says um, to cover our failure, because we have, what we have is people from the diaspora coming in, and you're coming in on a different playing field, different level, and a lot of times they'll use you as the face of Black America to show progress, or to show, oh, look, there's a person in the White House, oh, there's this and that. But the truth of the matter, there is still a big lack of progress in Black America. Huge huge things of poverty, and many things going on in Black America. And if you don't understand it from an economic root, it's going to be really hard for you to speak out, and you're going to be kind of lost, and you're going to feel the need to be a little bit nice about it. and not offend anyone. But I will tell you this: this is about ownership. To be honest, this is about black media not us not having too much ownership in black media, and the importance of us uh, being able to have the capital to maintain it, not only to get a magazine, but to maintain it. If you look at a lot of the ownerships of blogs, not all of them, but most of them are owned by black people who are mostly from the diaspora. That is an issue in America, where there are traditional black Americans. So if you're setting out to say, well, Essence just needs to correct that that it just needs to be more African American focused. No, the question really is how did this magazine, what has been the flow of this magazine? What has happened? Like what's the history of this magazine? How did this magazine come to a sale? How did it come to the Essence Ventures? How did Rich Lau Denise get Essence magazine? What is happening? And why aren't we having ownership and more black people step up to since we claim to have all these billionaires and everything, why step up and own magazines, own media? Owning media is power. You can ask Rupert Murdoch that. You can ask, what was Ghislaine Maxwell's father, who was a very prominent in Europe, owning newspapers and magazines and stuff like that. Newspapers, magazines, business. You can ask Jeff Bezos, who owns Washington Post. I mean, what's it, Washington? No, what's Washington? I forget what it is that he owns. But you can ask them how important it is for your voice to be heard. So this is not really just a question of Essence being global, because see, people who own it are going to do what they want to anyway. What they'll do is correct themselves for a little while, but continue the march towards what they had the energy to do in the first place. And I've even seen even more disturbing video from Essence. Oh my God, I've seen so much more. I was like, what? Like in their little parties, a little enclave. And part of this is because this is partly our fault, because we didn't understand who we were as Black American people. We have not stabilized ourselves as a people, steadied ourselves in who we are and our history. We're always looking to attach to something or someone when we don't got to. We're thinking we don't have the culture when we are the culture. You didn't understand it. And you've been reaching out to everybody, and everybody is not, frankly, interested in reaching out to you. A lot of times, some people are interested in replacing you. So yes, you're going to have to, this is no offense to people in the diaspora. There are people in the diaspora who understand this line of thinking and who understand the importance of Black Americans succeeding in America. There are people in the diaspora who totally get it, understand it, who are allies for that. People in the diaspora who live in America who have become Black American allies and understand that don't have hidden agendas and don't feel less than because we are talking of we are loving ourselves. Loving ourselves shouldn't make you feel less than. So yeah, but I'm saying this is directly to Black people. This is more than just about them correcting the Essence Fest, because they'll do that. They'll correct it to get you there. They'll start rolling African American history out, the history of the magazine. They'll start doing whatever it takes to protect Protect the magazine. They will do whatever it takes to protect their investments. And the white capital that probably sits behind it will make sure it's that too. Okay, so we have to be on guard. Part of our problem in Black America's problem is we haven't been on guard. We haven't understood how we're owning less and less media. Even BET. Can I tell you something? BET a few years ago was up for sale. It was several groups after BET. P Diddy was one of them. P Diddy was one of the people. Tyler Perry and Essence Ventures was after BET also. And other people. And JP Morgan, I mean, was it JP Morgan? I think, I forget who was this, but they stopped the sale of it because they didn't like the offerings, right? My personal opinion is I think it wasn't a global enough focus. See, because these groups, these corporations, I'm not going to even start saying white capital anymore because it's really corporations who are wanting a certain message to go out and who are trying to, what they're trying to do is globalize um, many parts of the diaspora through the American, through the Black American, um, how can I say it? Through the Black American ethnicity, because Black America has been pretty welcoming of other groups after post 1965, right? Fought for that, right? So what they're trying to do, because they want the world, right? Black America isn't enough anymore, even though they sold Black America off throughout the world, right? Their thing now is to do something what happened to how we got the term Latina, which I always tell people there's no such thing. I mean, it's just it, Latino was the term Latino. When you really hear about it, it was a made up term for a guy who had a television. He wanted to have a Latin television channel where the languages were similar, where he drew people in that spoke the same languages, but that cultures are very different. So that's why people are always confused, even Democrats, about votes with the Latinos, because you're thinking they're one group. They are not. Cubans are not Dominicans. Dominicans are not Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans are not Mexicans. So in my personal, this is my personal opinion, corporations have this same idea to drive in several cultures into the Black American culture, weave them in until they erase our culture. It doesn't look the same. And they have a space, a culture, ambiguous culture to sell to the world that looks familiar to all of the world, as if we weren't global beforehand. But this is the energy of it. And so you got to see the ugliness and the evil behind it and the greed behind it. And you got to check it, man. We have got to get wiser. We cannot be slow to globalization. And neither should our people who are in the diaspora. They should be appalled at any group coming to I would be appalled if I saw 50 Americans going over to Jamaica and Jamaicans not being able to afford to buy media and everything like that, and white capital or corporations getting behind Americans and buying companies that not only buying the companies, buying Jamaican-owned companies that were once Jamaican-owned and has Jamaican history, but buying them and trying to turn them into something else. I would be highly disturbed. I'd be like, what are you doing? What are you over there doing? I mean, doesn't mean that we can't reach into other markets as the diaspora. We can't sell to each other. We can't exchange to each other. We can't introduce to each other's culture. But we, Black Americans, we have got to get more steady. It's almost like you can't even, we have been so compromised. I don't think we understand how much we have been compromised as a people. We have been compromised by our politicians. We have been compromised by our leadership, what's considered the Black leadership. And they're going to, Essence, let me tell you, Essence is going to recruit these people. Essence Magazine is going to recruit these people to erase what you saw at Essence. They're going to get blackly black the next few years, okay? Because they know that's what they have to do. But it doesn't change that most of the leadership, and let me show you this tonight, what this thing that was going around on X. And I warned people about this several years ago. If you've been listening to my show for a while, I've been speaking on Essence and people to look at what has happened since Rich Leu Dennis, I believe, took the helm at Essence. Look from the beginning. Look from when Time Warner, because Time Warner, there was a lot of haggle with Time Warner. Susan Taylor even worked under the Time Warner reign. But find out the tea on what happened allegedly with Susan Taylor. And then find out the tea when Time Warner sells off allegedly, because I don't believe it's completely Black owned. But when, that's my personal belief. And I think if you dig more into it, we will see that. But it's not completely African owned. I don't believe that. I believe they're at the helm and they have a lot of capital behind them. He brought a group together. He brought a group of people together, and you don't know who's in that group and who's giving the most money, right? Because that tells, when we know that, when we hear Black owned, you always got to know who's in the group so that you can understand that when things are happening, you can understand, what's going on behind that, okay? He owned the Shea Butter empire, right? Please look this up. I don't want to even go through it no more and tell y'all. But look at what happened in the exchange of Essence Magazine to when to Time Warner, the lots of drama that went on under Time Warner when it was white owned. And then how Time Warner gives it off to Rich Leu, and what proceeds to happen there. It is very interesting. The first several years of Essence were chaotic under Rich Leu. Allegedly. You guys have to go read. There has been articles on it. Read what happened. You don't know. You guys have been blind to that. You have not been. When I was talking about this, people were like, well, I thought, well, at least it's Black owned. I'm like, read what's going on at Essence. It's a mess. It's been a mess from the beginning. It's been a mess since those men sold it. And even that was very crazy. Okay? I mean, I'm telling y'all, it is something to read, okay? And you will understand why Essence is what is. You understand how Carolina Wanga came there, because Rich Leu was the CEO the first few years. And what happened, why he's not CEO anymore. Oh my God. If they haven't erased it from the internet. Because, and let me tell you why I'm challenging us to know what went on with Essence, okay? Let me see. See if I'm going to go on a quick break. I'm going to see if I can, let me see. I'm going to see if I can, I'm going to see if I can find some articles. I'm going to have a little break here. I'm going to put on your little electric music, and I'll be back and see if I can look up some of the articles for that so I can read to you guys. And then you guys can go and look these things up for yourself, okay? So I'll be back in a moment, all right? All right, you guys, I am back. Okay, so I did find some articles, and I feel comfortable in talking to you guys about these articles. Okay, so this is one of the first articles. Time Warner under AT&T, and at one time owned when remember AT&T at one time bought Time Warner, and with the acquisition of Time Warner, they got the Essence brand, right? The Essence magazine. They had a lot of magazines under its Time magazine, Essence, all these magazines, because Time Warner had purchased Essence from the three black owners, okay, which two of them agreed to the selling, but one of them did not want to sell, but I think had to sell allegedly. That's how the story went during the whole thing, okay? So when that proceeds to happen, a lot of things happens in those years. People are angry that Essence is culturally owned by a corporate company that is probably white in ownership, right? You start to see major changes at Essence. You start seeing a lot of advertisers. Advertisers were there anyway, but it's even starts to gets more full of advertisers and things like that. Also, to me, it is the era of allegedly the pushing out of what some people say of Susan Taylor, who a lot of people thought was one of the guardians of Essence, right? There is a lot on that. You can look up on that, okay? Susan Taylor, it always disturbed me because my personal opinion is Susan Taylor should have a reign right now like Anna Wintour. Susan should still be at the helm, in my personal opinion. If she wanted, she went ahead and stepped down to run her mentoring company. But but a lot of people say Susan was forced out. Okay. And Susan was one of the best, in my personal opinion, editors in chiefs of Essence that Essence ever had. And she often partnered with great CEOs. And a lot of people, some people thought, if you hear about the Susan Taylor reign, sometimes Susan, they said, was a trip. But she was managing that magazine and keeping it tight, like just like you hear about Anna Wintour. But that's what you have to do to sometimes keep the situations right. But let's read this article. It says, this is then, so then amid a lot of criticism, I believe AT&T starts selling off Time Warner and other things, and then the sale allegedly of Essence goes to goes to Rich Leu, okay, and his group, whatever that means, okay, and which that's one of the things Black people should probably start asking about: who's the group? Like what is the names behind the group that's giving you the investment money for this magazine? Okay, because it's going to tell, I think it'll tell a lot. But when Rich Leu takes it over, okay, says Essence CEO steps down amid allegations of poisonous workplace culture. Okay, this article was written in Wednesday, July the 1st, 2020. Okay, and you can see this is Rich Leu over here on the Denise Rich Leu or whatever. But it says, after initially strongly denying allegations that management had long mistreated staff at 50-year-old Essence magazine, executives at its parent company appeared to stage a quick about face. Okay, owner Rich Leu Denise has stepped down from the chief executive officer's position, and the company has launched an investigation into the damning claims of a poisonous workplace environment for Black women. Caroline Wanger, who only joined Essence on Monday from Target Corp. Hear what I'm saying, since y'all boycotting Target. I'm not boycotting Target, but understand why Target is connected to Essence. Why Walmart's present is no longer at Essence. Here you go. Okay. Carolina Wanger, who only joined Essence on a Monday from Target Corp, has its new chief growth officer, has instead suddenly found herself serving as interim CEO, overseeing the investigation into the man who hired her. Mm-hmm. The reshuffle comes as a direct result of an anonymous essay titled "The Truth About Essence" that was published on blogging site Medium over the weekend and subsequently went viral. In it, a group calling itself Black Female Anonymous and stating that they are present and past employees made a number of allegations against executives at Essence, whose target audience is Black women, Black American women. That's what I'm going to say. And calling their immediate resignation of Dennis, Essence Ventures board members Michelle Ebanks, Chief Operating Officer Joy Collins Prophet, and Chief Content Officer Moana Lu. Now, I believe this was starting to be the takeover of Essence. That we weren't paying attention. It was COVID. A lot of stuff was happening in 2020. Okay, we were completely not paying attention. I remember having talks about Essence on my just me talking about Essence on my show. And this is why you can't just look back at the history of Essence magazine. You just can't look at the history and say, oh, see, this is what the magazine was about. It was for upscale Black women, blah, 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 Black American women. And, hopefully they can get back to the history. Perhaps they can create an Essence Vogue, an Essence this and that. No, it's about ownership. It's about so much more going on here. It's about maybe one group trying to come and push out another group, and you have to find out who's behind that group that's come to buy this magazine, that came to buy this magazine. It's a very interesting history, okay? And it says, Essence, who's the target audience is Black women, and calling for the immediate resignation of Dennis, Essence Ventura board members Michelle Ebanks, Chief Operating Officer Joy Collins Prophet, and Chief Content Officer Mohana Lu. The group also urged advertisers AT&T, Coca-Cola, Chase Bank, Ford, McDonald's, Procter & Gamble, Walmart, and Warner Media to immediately eliminate all active or future sponsorships and media buys at Essence Ventures until the company is under new leadership. Listen, y'all, The old crew knew. They knew because they were being, what it sounds like allegedly, and I'm going to say allegedly, it sounds like they were being pushed out. This was also happening under Time Warner, allegedly. It's like somebody was setting the stage for this. And black people, we have got to, if we're going to save ourselves in this era of globalism, if we're going to have a sense of who we are as black Americans, we're going to have to get deeper. We can't just be saying, oh, well, Essence, you better change it back so it look like it's for black American and have jambalaya there next year and have this and that and that. No. Why are you here? What was your purpose? Maybe we should have, maybe there does need to be new leadership at Essence. It really ain't about Target no more. This ain't about Target, it's little cheese, okay? DEI, let me just tell you this. DEI, I have said this over and over again, and I don't understand why black people are still arguing about DEI when it did not benefit them at all, almost. Less than 4%. It mostly benefited, it was a system that mostly benefited white women in America. And this is what leadership, black so-called leaders, have you boycotting. Instead of trying to create a new system, another version of DEI that will protect black Americans, the target of racism in America. And the target of a history of slavery, Jim Crow, segregation. These people, you have to look at this leadership and wonder what they're doing and who owns them. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're partnering with Carlotta Wanga and all them next year trying to bring you back. Yeah, we've all got together and this and that, and hey, we're all one in the diaspora. They'll be talking about that, and they will fail to talk about the main issue, which is ownership. Why are black American businesses losing their voices in the media? Why are you trying to cover black voices with people from the diaspora? What are you doing that for? What is going on? And if we don't start, listen, we got to be able to, hey, maybe we don't go to Essence no more. Maybe we don't. Maybe we got to let it go. And I love me some Essence. Okay, but maybe we got to let that shit go. And we need to press the black American entertainers and black entertainers from the diaspora. Don't take your ass up there or we ain't going to buy no records. You need to be boycotting this. We're till that leadership change, baby. And it start, not only do the leadership need to change, but it needs to start going back to its original intent. Okay. But let me finish reading this article. The group also urged, it says the Essence brand promise is fraudulent. Okay. The once exotic media brand dedicated to black women has been hijacked by cultural and corporate greed and an unhinged abuse of power, the essay said. Black women, who made up more than 80% of the company's workforce, are systematically suppressed by pay inequity, sexual harassment, corporate bullying, intimidation, colorism, and classism, the essay claimed. It also alleged that scores of talented black women have been either wrongfully laid off, or forced to resign from the company in the past 2 years. Hasfa Dennis, who acquired Essence in 2018 from Time Inc., the blog alleged that he has a history of sleeping with women on the Sundial staff, the parent company of the Shea Moisture he sold to Unilever in 2017. Added that for the women who don't seemingly consent, he openly sexual harassed them at private company events, although it did not state if that was at Essence. Now check this out. Rich Lou Dennis was getting these accusations in 2020 during the time Me Too movement. Wasn't nobody coming after him like y'all going after Puffy. Ain't nobody went after this man. Y'all talking about these are people saying he was allegedly sexually harassed, and you ain't gotta have no alleged in front of it now, and they can just think you sexually harassed. What? Wow, we completely ignored this. We completely ignored it. Shame on us. Shame on us. Even after reading it, I knew about it. The essay also revealed that in the latter half of 2019, Dennis tried to force Essence employees and contractors to sign non-disclosure agreements. But when staff raised questions about the NDA, the executive leadership team launched a series of intimidation tactics. In addition, it stated that the fact that Dennis' wife Martha is the company's head of human resources is a blatant conflict of interest. Martha is complicit in her husband's abuse of power, it said. For Essence employees under Dennis' family leadership, there is no possible way to share your grievances or frustrations when the family matriarch is at the head of HR. And then there's Ebanks, who stepped down as CEO earlier this year but remains on the board. The essay recalled a town hall in 2019 when some employees asked about pay raises. Her response was to point to the door and told staff they could leave if they could find a better compensation elsewhere. When the blog first came out, Essence was quick to firmly deny the allegations, calling them unfounded attempts to discredit our brand and assassinate our personal character, and adding that there have been no claims to respond to or any evidence of such defamatory accusations. But 2 days later, it took action. In addition to the departure of Dennis, the company said in a new statement that it was in the process of hiring lawyers and other independent external experts to assess and review the company's policies and practices. Now, you know who probably made them do that. Look no further than those sponsorships. At Essence, we remain committed to fostering a safe, transparent, and respectful workforce for everyone, it said. Our decision to commission an independent review is to ensure the ongoing trust of our communities and employees. In a letter to Wanga published on Instagram, Black female anonymous called on her to explain Denise's future involvement in the business, remove Ebanks, Collins, Prophet, and Lulu by Friday, and publicly reveal the names of the law firms it has hired and prove that they do not have pre-existing relationships with Dennis. Y'all don't know what's been happening. This has been a mess at Essence. This was maybe just 5 years ago. And this is why Carolina and Target sitting up in there. Oh, look at the strange bedfellows we have. And do you not think, now, why did he pick Carolina? Interesting. Why did he pick Carolina Wanga? Okay. They also want her to quickly release an action plan detailing how she plans to make Essence a safer place for Black women to work. At Target, Wanga was its top diversity and inclusion executive. Editor's note. Essence responded to requests for comment on the day after publication. A spokeswoman said there was no interim CEO at Essence Communication, Inc., following the departure of Michelle Ebanks on March 31st, until Richelieu Dennis appointed Caroline Wanga to this position on July the 1st. As owner, Dennis helped to lead the team along with ECI's senior leadership team, but never took the roles or responsibilities of CEO. So he never stepped down from, resigned from, or was replaced by any circle. But people have said elsewise, okay? Okay, so here's the deal. Essence has been in quite the messy mess that we ignored completely, and right now a lot of us are ignoring. This. I don't know if people have seen this on X. Let me put this over here. I can put it. Let me see. trying to find this so you guys can see it. Okay. This was on. This is on X, and this is a picture of Essence leadership. Okay. So let's see here. Okay. This is from PJ who posted this. It says Essence does not hire Black American executives. The executives at Essence are from Liberia. Okay, now remember, I want you to understand because they're going to try to do this too. The connection of Liberia to Black America, right? Do you remember? I don't know. A lot of people don't know this, but when Abraham Lincoln, when after the 1865, after the freeing of the slaves, okay, Abraham Lincoln came up with this idea, him and his staff, to send Black people back to Africa, those that would go, right? There were a few that went back. This is how Liberia became Liberia. It's for liberty, right? For America. But there were already people in Liberia, grant you. Right? But he said some slaves went back, right? Okay. But they were once Americans, but they were now Africans, okay? And there were already people there on the continent, on that in that country already, okay? They just came, renamed it, and you know, and Liberia has had lots of conflict over the years. You can read about the history of Liberia and stuff like that and get an understanding of that, all right? So this is not America. So if they try to give you that, we're connected to America, you were once connected to America. You're not American, so, okay? But it says Kenya, Mauritania, and India, okay? Okay, and it says, he says, the owner of the parent company, Essence Ventures, is Richelieu Dennis from Liberia. Now, I don't believe that Richelieu is the only owner. He has a group. It's Essence Ventures Group. The question is, who's the group? I always tell people, most entrepreneurs, use other people's money. So when they're coming into the door, when they have, especially in a big purchase like Essence. So who are those people? Who has loaned you the money? I like to see it. But it says the CEO is Carolina Wanga from Kenya. The chief content and creative officer is Moana, who they wanted to get rid of, Lou from Martinique. Okay. The chief operating officer is Avani Patel of Indian descent. Okay. So she's the COO. And here's what somebody is saying down here too, which is interesting. It says, really unfortunate the amount of xenophobia coming out of Essence discourse. Meanwhile, it's corporate sponsors putting restrictions on what can be done said at festival stage. That's not true. Okay. It's not corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors will take the blame. Okay. To take your eye off of what the secret sauce is behind this. And it's globalism, people, and about creating a cultured event that they can sail through and indoctrinate through and change. Black America is often a thorn in America's side, meaning you are the moral compass for America. Dr. King once called black people, he once said to, what did he say to Harry Belafonte? He said that America was burning, but black people must be the people to put out black Americans must be the people to put out the fire. We are the moral compass of this country. We remind this country that they are imperfect and they need to humble and remember who they are. We remind them of liberty, freedom. We remind them of that Constitution document they wrote and they weren't true to. We remind them of that. We are the moral compass that flows through this country. Okay, so these corporations see Black Americans as a little bit tougher to deal with, in my opinion. Then if your history isn't coming from the same place of Black Americans, and you don't feel that compassion and stuff then you won't be an ally. You won't understand it. You will be easily being able to move in the ways they want you to. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this because I just wanted you guys to know that you have to get deeper. They're going to erase us and our people if we don't just look at this. We don't just look at Essence and just lightly brush over it, but we look at it as, wait, if this institution is being taken over, what other institutions must we look at that they're trying to um, uh, uh, do us in the diaspora? I mean, you can see so much of this too. I mean, even with Oprah, no offense, and this is not hating on Oprah, but Oprah's need to go over to Africa to help young ladies. That's her business and what to do with her money. But that's a very interesting thing too about why the choices were made there when her people are here in America. And it's just very interesting to find out what the rich Black American groups, the talented 10th in America, how do you see yourself? Do you feel the need to connect to Africa to have some sense of wholeness? Because sometimes those people from those groups tend to sprout that, okay? And one time we were all being Pan-Africanist at some time. I think that's changing a lot. That doesn't mean we don't like other people. It just means that we're learning that how important it is to gatekeep Black American culture and life. So I'm telling you guys, if you have a chance, read this article about Essence Magazine. Don't overlook what you're seeing at Essence. Please don't overlook it. It's much deeper, I believe. And I think it's one that we need to have discourse on, because I don't believe it's just Essence that's having this problem. Essence that's going to be a problem. I think this may be something pretty powerful, because we, even with our presidential candidates, and I'm always shocked at how we don't pay attention. I remember talking to some Black people, and I said, well, you do know that we have only had people with immigrant backgrounds as president of the United States. And they're like, what do you mean? I said, Barack Obama, his mother was American, a white American, but his father was Kenyan. Kamala Harris, who's maybe a third of, allegedly, of Jamaican, but her mom is Brom Indian, her father's like half Jamaican or something like that. It is not. We have yet to have a president, a Black American president who is a descendant of slaves in America. Why? And what are we saying? We got to catch it, man. We got to catch what's going on here, okay? Even the Statue of Liberty, I always tell people it's turned into an immigrant symbolism, but it was actually a symbolism for that was a gift given to from I think France for slavery, the freedom of the slaves. It was really about slavery. Globalism has been setting itself up since the probably late 1930s, maybe before then. I mean, probably was it Wilson that first started the globalist, I think, ideas, stuff like that. We really have to pay close attention, because we're as if our people are not struggling enough, and to have to fight these and in the last days, Bible, I love the Bible, and the Bible says ethnos will rise against ethnos. Like, people would be like arguing. I mean, you know what I'm saying? That wouldn't be strange. But Black people, Black Americans, because this culture has been through so much, we have to protect the things that our ancestors created. If not, we're ungrateful. And we don't understand what America has made us. You know what I'm saying? Of what America created and the strength America gave us. I love Beyonce wearing. I talked about this. I gotta say this, and I be coming going hard on Beyonce, but I love Beyonce wearing the red, white, and blue. I love it. Even though I don't believe that's a country album, and I'm with the country people, but I love her representing American culture. It's such a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? I love that. And I sport some things with red, black, and green because you get all your stuff with, some of the African stuff you get, not African, but Pan African stuff you get. Like it's still red, black, and green. We haven't got a lot of stuff yet with red, white, and blue. And but we do need to start making more things and celebrating our country and our contributions to this country that we have made. This country would not be this country without us. Okay, believe that. We the most American thing about it. Okay, so that's why I'll end that there. Okay, all right. More questions. More questions about Maxwell and Janet. Janet Maxwell. I had so many times today. I was like, Janet, hey, what you think about Janet Maxwell? I was like, I don't know. You know what? If I was them, like I said, I would keep it private if it was really a real thing. But I don't think it's a real thing. And today they kind of said that. TMZ kind of broke a story that says, as much as we think people have cute aesthetics, you know what I'm saying? They're saying maybe it's not a thing, or maybe they're just both trying. They realize this was a mistake to come out in public. Let's go back into the dark. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Who knows? But let me get TMZ's article right there, okay? Because y'all didn't get to hear me say I said some juicy stuff last night. Man, I hate y'all missed it. Because on the half show, like the half, I said some good stuff, man. I said some good stuff about Jenny and Maxwell. What I thought, like, you know what I'm saying? I did get the little, like, she's the Christian. She will be the Christian Grey of it, right? Do you think Maxwell would be Christian? I don't think Maxwell would be Christian Grey. You know what made me think Maxwell wouldn't be Christian Grey? Have you seen the video? What's the video of him? I'm in the zone. I hate that song. What is it? Am I alone? I don't hate it. I've learned to like it more. What is it, Off? Yeah. And he's in the car, right, with this girl, right? And the girl's kind of like, it feels like it's kind of a rough move, like Maxwell treating Maxwell a little rough. So it made me think, is he a dominant guy? He doesn't seem like a dominant guy. It was just funny in the video. It was just a little spark, and I saw it. I said, oh, maybe he likes to be dominated. I mean, Janet's a girl if he like that, I think, because I can see Janet with, a whip and chains and all that stuff. I can see it totally. I can totally see it, right? I can. I'm telling y'all. Okay, so let's look at what TMZ is saying today about the Janet Jackson Maxwell love flame thing, y'all. Y'all was all happy about. Let's see. Is it up? Oh my goodness, they must have announced this morning. Okay. You guys, I'm going a little slow. Okay, is this it? Let's see. Okay, I do want to, let me see what it is. Let me find that article. And I'm sure Maxwell has woke up this morning. I mean, today when I was driving, I think I heard Maxwell's songs more often. I think I heard Pretty Wings. I was like, what? Like they were playing. So this, whatever this idea that their couple has. Listen, man, I'm sure it's been great for publicity. I mean, I'm sure it has. I mean, it's got to be good publicity, okay? Um, let's see, do we get here? Uh, if I can find it, why am I having such a hard time finding it? Um, okay, we'll get it in just a minute, y'all. Let's get this article up. Well, I don't know why I can't find the articles. I don't know what's going on. Here we go. We're going to try to find, we're going to get it. We're going to get it. I wanted the original. Um, okay, here it is. Okay. All right. So for you guys who are hoping that, but a lot of, because I'm a big Janet fan and a big Maxwell fan, they're my favorite singers both. If you listen to the show, you know. But especially, Maxwell, but I know about Janet's movements because I'm a big Janet fan, okay? And I've watched Janet over the years. So I knew, when I saw them holding hands, even though it looked cute and everything, but I know Janet's a hand holder, and that's what I said the other day on the show. And yeah, it's very interesting, okay? Uh, it says, this is what TMZ is saying. If y'all looking at the article, Janet Jackson, Maxwell still in the friend zone, okay? I don't know, Maxwell would probably might like to be out of the friend zone, even though I heard some tea today that was very interesting about Janet Jackson back in the day. I think I heard this tea before, but somebody told me the tea that they knew it was like she might like a Maxwell type, but the guy, okay, I don't want to say. I heard some real tea. I don't want to say it because, I'm going to feel like I'm biased because y'all going to feel like I'm being biased because I'm a big Maxwell fan and y'all going to feel like, oh, you saying that because you don't want No, I like Maxwell and Janet together. They're cute together, but I'm going to tell you the truth. What this person told me with some tea. Okay, they said that years ago that the tea. Now, her and Maxwell are friends, people are saying. Now, this is what I'm hearing from my sort. Now, it could be a lie. Maybe they decide not to be friends. Or maybe Maxwell's trying to holler. I don't know. So he might be lurking around trying to what's up, girl? What's up, girl? What I'm saying? Trying to get his groove on. I even know somebody told me they thought he was friends with Jermaine Dupri. Okay, I heard that today too. Then, but in Hollywood, does that matter? Because I think they swap anyway, right? But what I heard today, okay, and I said, oh, if that ever happened, people will be like, oh shit. And they said that Janet's a real big crush back some time ago, and it's always kind of been Janet. I might fight you, Janet, though. Lenny Kravitz. I said, what? They said, it just never worked. That's the tea. I don't know how true it is, but I heard that tea. I heard that tea was like years ago that was trying to happen, and she kind of always had a crush, but it just never happened. Okay. Now, They both Geminis, okay? Notice that. Clock that. Just both Geminis. I can see it, but I'm gonna tell you this: Maxwell is a different Gemini than Lenny. Lenny is a little older, and here's what I say about Max. Max is a younger spirit, kind of Peter Pan like, you know what I'm saying? He's still, like I can see Max still in the club in Miami, kicking and stuff like that. Very youthful spirit, very energetic. Lenny is youthful too, but Lenny is a very, I can't explain it. Max gives me more surface, I don't know, and I'm not trying to compare him, but I'm just telling y'all the tea I heard. Okay, this is what somebody told me, that that back in the day, that it was that allegedly she was feeling some Lenny crap, allegedly, and I always had a crush on him. I don't know how true that is. That's what somebody told me. Okay? And that Max is always kind of being friendly and her being cool. Now Max might be trying to holler, okay? You just never know, because sometimes men still be trying to holler. They be hanging around you, like your friends be looking at you and stuff like that. Be trying to, what, men, let me tell you something. Men are something else. I have a friend who, her dude that she's with now, he said he was plotting on her when she was married. He said he knew that. He said, I knew I was gonna get her. I knew she wasn't with it. I knew she didn't cheat, nothing like that. But he said he already knew. He was just waiting his time. He said he was waiting his turn because he knew it was gonna happen. He knew. He said he knew when he saw her. He just said, all right, I'm gonna let her do what she gotta do. Let her get her life together. And they together there. He's like, he knew back in the day. He knew. He's like, shit, I'm getting that girl. That girl, like kind of like what when you heard. Remember what Russell Wilson said when he knew he had to get Sierra. I said he's so shady. When he said, I saw her when she was in that video. What's the video? My Body, with Preacher in it. I said you ain't shit, Russell. And he said, I saw her smile and I knew she was mine. I was like, she was a gay. He didn't care. He was like, I'm just gonna buy my time. And this is what my friend's dude told her. And they haven't married yet. They've been together for a while, but he said he knew. He knew it would go. He's like, I ain't even worried. I said, that's crazy. But men do that, okay? So he might be been lurking. You know what I'm saying? He might be lurking. Men be lurking. I don't know how many I've had lurk around me. It's my friends. Back in the day, men will lurk on you. Men will lurk around, okay? So that might be, he might be waiting for Janet to slip up. I don't know. Maybe Janet's already slipped up, and maybe there's a secret going on, all right? Okay? I'm just telling you the tea I heard, okay? Now, let me just say why I think Janet might be a better fit with a Maxwell versus a Lenny, okay? Lenny is very mature. Lenny ain't having all that bullshit. Lenny is not gonna be. You ain't gonna be snapping, trapping. He don't give me that. He don't give me. He ain't. Max is sweet. Max ain't gonna tell you like, yeah. Max gonna go with the flow. Lenny Kravitz gonna be like, hey, we going out. I mean, I like to hang out with you and stuff like that, but the paparazzi, baby. I mean, I'm gonna control if it's gonna be paparazzi. Then he look like he don't play no shit. He don't take no shit. Like, it looks like a very much more she would have to be very toned down to be with the Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz is not gonna be playing games. And he seems a little bit more like a controlling figure. That's what he gives me. Okay, I feel like Max is not that. Max is the guy that you can go to the events with. He's fun. He's Peter Pan. He's forever young. And I think that he would be so enthralled with having Janet that he would. It's like having the guy. Then I can't say that again because again he does do. Like I said the other day, is it Eric Benet? Is it giving me Eric Benet and Holly Berry aesthetic? But I can't say that because Eric Benet wasn't as established in his career when he married Halle Berry, right? He wasn't. Maxwell's very established in R&B, so that's why people are kind of like, "Oh, this is a good couple, this is a super couple." Now, how the power dynamics would work because Janet is a huge, 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 huge star. Okay, I think Max was more the person that would go in the flow like that. Like he's more of a guy that now I don't know how it would affect him later in later years, like how it would affect, like how that affects that. And he's completely private. But Lenny Kravitz, in my personal opinion, is not that guy. You cannot, like if you date Lenny, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. Lenny seems like he ain't taking no shit. Like it's like it's just like like you can't play no games. Like he, and then he won't be as enthralled with her being Janet Jackson. It's almost like the situation. You know when women they say women you gotta find a man that like I hate to say there's your grandmas and all them used to say you gotta find a man baby that love you more than you love him. They used to say that stuff. They say that, right? Or you got to find a man that's enthralled with you, kind of obsessed with you, kind of crazy about you, that'll give everything to you, cause he gonna appreciate you. That's probably Maxwell. Maxwell probably be so happy as Janet Jackson. I think that even his face looked like he was happy, and he was happy, like Janet was his high school crush or something. Like he's so funny, like she ain't like that. She ain't moving like that. But he is. He looking like a little puppy dog. Lenny is not gonna look like that. Okay, Lenny like, hey yeah, Janet Jackson. Lenny is giving me what vibes? He giving me Jermaine Dupri vibes, and them the types that cheat on you. Oh, they are. Them the types that will cheat on. Them the types. Wait, let me see. Is there? My friend told me this, who was a blogger. Hold on, let me look at something here. I have to look this up, y'all, before I get it. Let me see something real quick. Okay, and this was back in the day. So they told me, because I'm just looking up this where somebody told me, okay, this was supposed to be back in the day, but the rumors was, and she always was digging him. He didn't bite it. He didn't get it. Listen, and then I hear different things. Like I hear Lenny likes some like really young, I don't know, like younger girls or something like that, models and stuff like that. However, check this out. She just couldn't play with Lenny like that. She couldn't play games. Lenny, she'd be much more subdued. And she's a Taurus. She wouldn't care. She would be. But that's what I'm saying. I feel Maxwell's better because Maxwell would be, if that was going to be a thing, that he would be a little bit more, Listen. Maxwell with Janet Jackson would be the guy that is probably very crazy about her. Okay. Which is good, which is what she needs. Okay, I would think that's good. Okay, now, which is strange for Maxwell. That would be really strange for Maxwell because he's used to everybody always gawking over him. Like all the women looking at him like he's like a chocolate chip cookie. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I can see this, but it's not going on. And I don't know if it could be long term because of that. Because I actually feel like, can Janet be with a guy that doesn't give off? Yes, she can, because she has been with him. Renee Elizondo was not the masculine in that relationship, in my opinion, even though he was the manager and all that stuff. Well, no, he had an undue influence, kind of like in the background a little bit, kind of weird, kind of strange. Like he played like he was a feminine, but he wasn't. James was definitely one. Um, Jermaine is not. Jermaine was not a feminine, or whatever. Uh, I don't. Can I see Maxwell long term surviving under that pressure? I'm not sure. I think it's fun for him. He likes it. I think he would enjoy the perks of it, but I don't. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like he gives me little younger guy vibes, right? Younger man, like a younger man energy. Like I don't know why he's giving me that with her. He is a younger man, right? Uh, but he doesn't give me a masculine with her. He seems like he would get less masculine with her, like meaning that she would be the dominant. Okay, it felt like that as they were walking. And I don't know if that could be long term. Okay, and maybe why he's in the friend zone. You know, let's see. And then maybe I'm reading Maxwell all wrong. Okay. It says Janet Jackson is not dating Maxwell despite recent outing that made it look like the musicians might be booed up. Our sources with direct knowledge tell us that she and Maxwell have nothing going on romantically. Janet and Maxwell have been friends for a long time, and we're told that is still where their relationship stands. Okay. Lots of folks were speculating about Janet and Maxwell possibly being a couple after they arrived hand in hand at the 1500 performance of Cabaret at the Kit Kat Club Monday evening in London. Janet was smiling as she led Maxwell into the performance, and they looked cozier than normal. Okay. Janet keeps her love life pretty quiet, and she's been divorced since 2017. And Maxwell's not publicly dating anyone either, but nothing's going on between these two. Okay. Guess that's just the way love goes, is what they say. Okay, you know what? They could be also drawing back the attention. Maybe they realized yesterday it was stupid to show people that y'all was dating or whatever. They might have thought that after they seen the rigmarole go on. I'm sure for Maxwell, it is probably a shocker. Because that's what scares me about the Janet and Maxwell scenario. Because looking at how I've seen, I know both, these are my faves, okay? I feel like Maxwell has to get a girl. I'm going to be honest here. I love the look. And I don't want to mess anyway with it. I want to see what you all see. Here's what I'll say. Gosh, I cannot be biased. I'm not being biased because Maxwell's my celebrity crush either. I'm not being biased on that. I'm really going to be honest. I like them, the look together, but I don't think it could be long. My personal opinion, long term might be a problem. Could be. I thought last night, I was talking about long term Gemini and, what's couples? Gemini and Taurus couples, right? But the dynamics of it in like Maxwell being an R&B star, very established R&B star, but Janet just being so fucking huge. I mean, it's like can any man, like it's like Bobby Brown and Whitney Houston almost. It's not going to be Bobby Brown. I mean, not quite Bobby Brown, okay? I can't say that. But it's going to, because Maxwell's not Bobby. But I'm just saying, it's going to give that energy. It's for him. I just think, will he get tired of that? Because he's very private. Like Janet, like I said, is figuratively private. Janet gives a look of privacy, but nothing about her life. In some ways, her life is private, but some ways it's not. It's loud still. Even when it's private, it's loud because she's a pop star, right? Like when you get Jay-Z and Beyonce together, even though Beyonce kind of gave Jay-Z that lift up, you know what I'm saying? She gave him that powerhouse lift up, you know what I'm saying? There is something very equally wrong about that, and Jay-Z still looks very masculine in it. And I think it's important for men to look like men. You know what I'm saying? It's like very masculine in it. I don't know if can I see that? Can I see that with Maxwell and Janet? I don't know. Because Maxwell is giving me off femininity with Janet. Now he doesn't give me off that with other women that he's been with, but they've been much more or less popular than Janet. Okay. Is there a famous woman I could see Maxwell with? She'd have to be a starlet coming into the game and rise up under him. That's my personal opinion. Like if she's a starlet coming into the game and she grows and grows and gets big up under under him or something like that, that might work. That might become a power couple. I just don't know. Like, how soon will they start tearing Maxwell apart? How soon? Like, how soon? How soon will stories start coming to the block? Because, see, Janet signs a light where Maxwell has been. Like, I used to think Maxwell had I'm one of the people that used to say, Maxwell's got a great-ass NDA. Right? But how soon? But that's because he hasn't dated a Janet Jackson, like, publicly yet, like, at least. Right? So how soon then where he makes that public, Janet Jackson, that the darts start they start shooting darts towards it. Like how soon? Like right now you're the favorite couple, but how soon before you're not? They start saying, well, allegedly he's never did this or he's never did that. They start looking into other relationships and people start giving them, like old girlfriends or old people start giving, tea on a load in the magazines and stuff like that. Like normally happens when when men start to date famous women, really famous women. There starts to be a looking under the glass. You know what I'm saying? And Maxwell's not used to that. He's not. Mostly girls are what happens with Maxwell is when Maxwell's dating somebody, the girls is after them, but the girls genuinely like Janet. Everybody's like, oh, I love Janet. So girls will love it so far. And so nobody's gonna be coming at Janet. But however, it gives him it's a new situation because. And sometimes it's going to make you more attractive to people because it's Janet Jackson. I mean, I think that's what happened to Jermaine Dupri. Like, I always say the fucking nerve. Like, how you going to be cheating? I be saying that about Jay-Z when they say Jay-Z was cheating. I said, how the fuck? How? You should be the luckiest. You should be lucky. You should be like a little puppy dog. Do you see Beyonce? Man. Man, you ought to be the most, he should have been the most faithful man that ever been. You know what I'm saying? And I said the same thing with Jermaine Dupri. Jermaine Dupri should have been, but some people's attitudes and egos are so huge, you know what I'm saying? And so I just really feel like I can't see that with I can't see Maxwell do. I think he would be very kind, very sweet. He would, and I don't know if that would. I don't know how that would fit her. And then you got to do it with baby daddy. So how's baby daddy? How's Wissam and her relationship? All this stuff. It's gonna be very interesting. It's interesting, but they're not together. Okay, they're not. And then also, I would wonder this, and I wonder if Janet would wonder this, okay? This is just my personal opinion. Maybe Maxwell doesn't want children. I don't know, okay? Janet is older. So, I mean, there's a lot of shit you can do nowadays to have kids, though, if it has an older woman. Like, you can have a surrogate if you want to, or you can do some shit. You can do a lot of shit, okay? But I'm just, does she want that? It seems like he still seems like he's still kind of out on the street. I mean, I don't know. But he doesn't give me mature man. Like he gives me mature man with certain people, but he doesn't give me that energy like a Lenny Kravitz would have. Because people were saying she used to like Lenny Kravitz, so I was like, oh yeah, but you can't play them games with Lenny. It just feels like that. It feels like you can't. Like there's another story going on there. Like that's gonna be a different. And then he ain't gonna think of you as Janet Jackson. Like Max is really sweet, even though Maxwell is fine. Listen here. He ain't no chick. Maxwell's super fine. Okay? Nah, Maxwell fine. And Maxwell's extra sexy. Okay? Extra, extra sexy. Okay? So, but there is not that same, I think there's a genuine, like, it feels like a little crushy. And if there's a crushy vibe with Lenny Kravitz, you're not going to get it. You're not going to even see it. He's not going to, he ain't going to even show that off the gym. I mean, he might be cool and sexy and yeah, open the door, you know, but you know, Maxwell was looking giddy in that picture. No, man, it's not gonna. That's not gonna be the steez of Lenny. And if she wants a man that is gonna be right, like so excited to have her in her life, it's probably gonna be Maxwell. Lenny's might like her and be excited, but he's not gonna give up them same vibes. He's gonna be like, yeah, okay, I just listen here. Even though Maxwell sees 1,000 Janets every day. No offense, Janet. But here's what I think about Maxwell. Should I say it? He's dust. I said this the other day. I said this the other night. This is what y'all miss me talking about, okay? About Maxwell and Janet. Maxwell is what I consider, what is it? Dust. Like, you know, he's partly earth sign and air. Air and the dust. It's like windy when the dust, like when there's a dust bowl, it's the wind and the air mix. That's Maxwell. He's the earth and the air mix, or a little bit. He's a triple air sign. Janet is definitely going to be the masculine. Can I just say this? I'm going to say it. She's got a Taurus sun, an Aries moon, and a Scorpio rising. It can't even pretend it. They can't even pretend it, okay? Financially, maybe she might be I don't know. I can't count Maxwell's pockets because he's very mysterious. So who knows? He may have great investments. You never know what the fuck is going on, right? Yeah, I can't. I look at all the aesthetics about a relationship. I had to sit and sleep on it overnight and come back and think about it and give y'all a better accounting of what I thought. And right now they're just friends, and I can probably see if they're just like pretending to be friends. So you guys won't get, because they realize that they shouldn't have brought out their relationship or whatever. Maybe that's going on too. However, my personal opinion on that, them looking at them now, is I don't know if I'm not sure if it would be good totally for Maxwell. I'm not sure. I see Janet. It'd be great for Janet, but I just can't see the privacy that he has to come off of. Yes, I mean, there's going to be privacy guard, but still people can speculate. You know what I'm saying? And when it's that big, that's why I say she's figuratively private, right? People was even speculating on a Winsome. I mean, I was already hearing tea about Wissam and them when she was with Wissam. I already knew that was already like allegedly over, because I was hearing tea. She comes from a Black American family with a very dominant, with lots of brothers, sisters, a very interesting family. A lot going on there. I don't know. I can see him being able to handle secrets and things like that. But I say Janet doesn't. I think Janet is friend zoning him because she thinks he's sweet. He's kind. He's really a sweet guy. He's very nice, and she can see she would be the dominant. And she probably wants more of a type that's not the dominant, but they tend to probably treat her a little bit lackluster and not really care for her as much, maybe. And then I'm not sure how that keeps going with Maxwell either, because Maxwell does have a pretty prominent career. So after the glow wears off, the glitter, and you realize that it's just not just Janet Jackson there. When I say Maxwell's dust is, Maxwell is it's like I call him the faceless. Like on Game of Thrones, I always see Maxwell as the faceless, a faceless guy, like has a Gemini. Whereas I see Lenny Kravitz not his faceless, even though I believe there are different personalities that live in Lenny Kravitz. Probably some we would be shocked at. But with Maxwell, I see facelessness all the time. Like Maxwell can put on any face, I think, and flow in any room, like with anybody, which almost makes him like no one. Like not in a bad way, right? In a celebrity way. Like Maxwell has remember in the Game of Thrones. Do y'all remember in the Game of Thrones when the assassins in the Game of Thrones were the faceless men? The faceless men could put on any kind of face, any kind of look, and they could go amongst different people, and that's how they would become the best. They were the best assassins in the Game of Thrones, and that's how I see Maxwell. Maxwell is that person in the celebrity, like where I see Lenny Kravitz as having a definite stance on stuff and issues and stuff like that. Maxwell has a stance, in my personal opinion. It seems like Maxwell goes wherever wherever he can be politically correct and safe. And that way, I think there's an attractiveness for Janet there because she's a big star, a pop star, and that helps and stuff like that. But at the same time, I think that makes him maybe less for her. I believe now. I do believe Maxwell has talks and gives his opinions, but I think you have to be very close to him. I think the person that you see is faceless, though. You see a faceless guy. Like when he's hanging out with Miss Tina, he's faceless. He can hang with Miss Tina. He can hang with Janet. He can hang with this person. He can hang with that person. He is such to me, and he's a very quiet mover in the industry. So I cannot see Janet at all. The more I think about it, the more I'm pulling away from the Janet idea, even though I love the look of them together. But I just feel like it's going to be a light shining on Maxwell where there was never a light. Like there's a light. Like when you talk, if you want to find out tea on Maxwell back in the day, let me tell y'all, there has never been tea on Maxwell. Maxwell has hardly ever hit the blogs. This is like one of the times. I've only seen Maxwell hit the blogs like twice, 2 times he's hit the blogs. Besides his knee dancing and all this stuff, but one time he hit with Diamante when he was going with the model white, and I feel like somebody put that out. I feel like his publicist people, like he was on the beach one day, and the publicist caught up and said, TMZ, y'all get down there to that beach. Maxwell and his girlfriend gonna be on the beach. Take some pictures. So we show Maxwell's out with his girlfriend. Right? And not only that, I have always told this story. I'm gonna break the tea, okay? Diamante, if you want to know some tea on Maxwell, let me tell y'all about this, okay? She is the only girlfriend that I know of. Okay, I'm gonna tell y'all some tea. I gotta act like a blogger now. Please do not get mad at me, anyone. If you're listening, any person that's Maxwell people, please do not get mad. But Diamante is very interesting. I feel like, let me tell you why I feel like she was the girl. Okay. There is I read foreign papers sometimes, and I happen, you know how they suggest stuff to you at the end of the magazines, like they start suggesting, oh, we suggest you read this article, we suggest you read this article and stuff like that. So they had an article of Diamante, and she gave a whole like interview about Maxwell, and in this article, this was to a Lithuanian paper. And in this, and I wasn't even looking for, I was actually reading about something globally going on in the Lithuanian paper, and they put it as a suggestion at the bottom. And I said, what is this? I couldn't believe a girlfriend of Maxwell's was allowed to talk. She gave a full fucking press interview. Like, and it was all kind of pictures and everything in them together. I was like, oh my God. It's the most I've ever seen Maxwell be visual, right? Not even Jalissa. When Jalissa would get on interviews, Jalissa would be like, well, I'm kind of friends. We've been friends for 10 years. Maybe kind of friends. Maybe not. Maybe, I don't know. Not, this girl gave a full press interview, okay? Now, that's when one time I saw Maxwell in a blog, okay? Well, not a blog. It was a newspaper. It was an interview she was giving as a model about her boyfriend and her life in New York City, okay? Then, and you can still find this article probably somewhere. You probably have to really do a deep dive and deep search. I forget the Lithuanian paper. I may have it saved or something like that, because I like different articles. I like to read different perspectives in the world, because American papers, sometimes, as much as we hate to admit it, our press might be the most taken over by corporations, and we may not be getting the most stuff. So I like to look at other stuff. And it will translate the article for you, because the article is not in English, okay? So very interesting article, and it gives you a little bit of insight to Maxwell. She gives you some insight to Maxwell, like that you never seen before. I was like, oh, this is interesting. Okay, so that's the only time. Then I see the article in essence when he announces Jalissa. Shortly after, it seems like something went, it was like a lull there between, what's her name? Diamante? I don't know. It ain't my business. I'm just saying it seemed like a little, slight little. And then suddenly Jalissa was up to the pocket. And it seemed like he gave a little touch of an article, like announcing that he was kind of with Jalissa, kind of not. It was like, my mama is from Haiti, her mama from Dominican. I don't know what the hell he was trying to talk to Haitian, Dominican stuff, and we got love or whatever. And he was on the shade room a little bit. Picture him and her on the shade room. Picture him and her is a little article in essence, and he talked about how he liked to give big gifts, and he was currently dating such and such. Okay, that's the second time. Nobody hardly paid attention. People didn't give a shit. Then they show some little press junkets. They do the same thing. They send this is just my personal opinion, okay? My personal opinion, my ideas, allegedly. Then they allegedly, a press person, a published, in my personal opinion, calls up and says, hey, Jalissa and Maxwell gonna be on the beach today. Make sure you get them beach pictures. Otherwise, paparazzi doesn't follow Max around. Do they? I've never seen that. They're going to start now. If they think he's Jaden, they're going to be following his ass now. He's just opened up a door of light that he's never had before, okay? So I always felt like those were things that were made to put attention on Maxwell, okay? The people were not interested in Maxwell. They're interested in Maxwell, but he's so notoriously private that people don't even pay attention a little bit to who he dates. Now, where do you get tea on Maxwell? Where have you known where there's going to be? I'm going to tell y'all a quiet little secret here. It's old. It's an old blog. Now, it's old. It's an old blogger site where you can possibly find some tea on Maxwell. Not a lot, but some tea. And they debate whether Maxwell's gay. They debate all that shit, okay? They tell you the history of Maxwell's relationships. People speculate and stuff like that. Now, I have some people who allegedly are in the know, and I be like, what you say? They give me some of the tea they hear, or whatever. But some of this tea is also on this particular blog I'm about to say. And it's the only one that has the Maxwell, like stuff on Maxwell. And it's an old-timey blog, but it's still going strong. Lipstick Alley. Y'all said, what? I ain't heard Lipstick Alley in years. Okay? You can still, that used to be back in the day. That's how I knew that they kept tea on Maxwell all the time. That's the only blog I know that keeps tea on Maxwell, that consistently or used to keep tea on Maxwell. Other blogs hardly paid attention. And there used to be, actually, was he under the Panache report? He was in the Panache report. I'm not going to, allegedly. He's been in Panache report a couple of times. Sedan, has Sedan had him? Let's go. Let me see if Sedan got something up now. Sedan has had one blind item on Maxwell, which he solved. One blind item. That's how deep it is for Maxwell. It's Sedan, which is Crazy Days and Nights blog, if you don't know what that is. Which is one of the most controversial blogs because he has blind items and he solves them. And no one ever sues him. Okay, I'm going to see if he has some tea out here right now. He's talking about it. He doesn't seem to be talking. I'm not sure if he's... I'm looking to see. He's had a lot of blind items on Janet Jackson. I will say this, okay? Maxwell, the one blind item he had on Maxwell, he said that Maxwell will be A-list, but he doesn't like to make albums like at all, so it keeps him like A- because he was, he doesn't like to keep up with his albums or whatever. But the item that I think the one that he had out was about Maxwell and Naomi Campbell or something like that. And you guys have to go see that because it's a trip. I don't know if it's true, but it's funny as hell. Okay, so look up Naomi Campbell, Maxwell blind item, Sedan, Crazy Days and Nights, okay? But I'm sure he's going to have the blind item that tells the tea behind this. He has people in the know. I don't know where the fuck he gets them from. I have no clue. Okay? He's one of the guys that broke about allegedly Jennifer Lopez not singing on that Ain't That Funny and all that and it being Ashanti. He had that for years, so he's been around. He's a very popular but he doesn't even keep blind items on Maxwell. So that's how private, how guarded the ship is of Maxwell. And so it is so strange to me to see Maxwell open up this light for himself. Why would you do it? It's interesting. I mean, everything that if this is true, because they're going to watch him for a little while to see if him and Janet are lying. TMZ is not dumb. And neither are none of these bloggers and these powerful blogging sites, these other ones. There are other ones. Do you know that there are, I got to tell y'all some tea. Oh, and I did see one blog. Okay, this is another tea. Okay, I'm giving y'all tea tonight, okay? I'm giving y'all tea that's old blind items. Listen, Matt, if somebody know Maxwell, I ain't put this tea out. This tea been out here, okay? This is underground tea stuff, okay? Now, years ago, the only other time I seen Maxwell, I can count them on my hand. I can't even get to 10 on the number of times I've seen Maxwell in a blog. I can't even get to 10. I can't put 10. Not with him dancing around. Like that usually it's something like Maxwell dancing or something doing something stupid. No, I can't even get to 10. I'm talking about his personal life. I can't get to 10. I can't get to 10 except for on Lipstick Alley. I can get to 10 on Lipstick Alley. But I can't get to 10 everyday blogs, okay? He is just that private. Okay, there was another one that the blogs had. Maxwell was hanging out with Nas at the time. Remember when Maxwell was hanging out with Nas and him and Nas was best friends and hanging out and hanging. And remember him and Nas was on tour together or something like that. And they were in a hotel room and all these women were around and the pictures are notorious. You can still find them today on Lipstick Alley, whatever the fuck is going on. Nas and Tom at the time and Khalees were breaking up. Nas and Khalees, and Khalees was very pregnant. Khalees was pissed. Okay, and Khalees proceeded to tweet some things that were not very nice. I will not repeat, but I will just say this. It added to the gay rumors, okay? It did. She went hard, okay? I'll let y'all look them up, okay? But I'm just gonna tell you, that's the only time I see Maxwell, and poor Maxwell, he just got caught up in the middle because Nas and Khalees was beefing around that time. Yeah, he was hanging out with Nas. He was hanging out with a bunch of girls. They had bottles. Now, here's the underground tea. Rumor is, were they all girls? This is what people were saying. I wasn't saying this. I think this is people saying this because of Khalees. Allegedly Khalees was pissed and she tweeted out her fucking feelings. Okay, it was not good. Okay, it was not good. That's the only controversy I've seen of Maxwell in the blogs. And the check the numbers bitch. Check the numbers bitch. When he gives off Maxwell really gives off some feelings about race and stuff in America, most people tend to not agree with him. And when he really shows that, he used to show that side all the time. Okay, I'm getting to like the seventh time I've seen Maxwell on the blog. Okay, here's the seventh time. When he was going with the Lithuanian woman, okay? When he was going with Diamante, that's how you say her name, Diamante? When he was going with the model, okay? He kept tweeting her pictures out. He was tweeting her pictures. And you know all his fans is black women, right? I mean, he was tweeting the white women. He's tweeting. This is the only time. This is contra. I can't name his. But Maxwell, he tweeting the women out, okay? And the black women came on there and said, why are you showing all these white women? You know, they was going off. They was mad at Maxwell. Maxwell was about to get canceled, okay? I still got friends who don't mess with Maxwell because of Diamante. They like, I quit dealing with Maxwell when he said, because remember he got mad and he said, y'all being prejudiced or whatever. He answered back and all the blogs caught it and he was saying he's going to put up his whatever. And my favorite line ever in a Maxwell controversy was when the girl said in one of his posts, he was arguing with them, telling y'all being prejudiced and I don't like prejudice. He was just saying a lot of stuff, but they was mad. They was hot. My favorite line came from one of the people, and they said, let the Lithuanians buy your tickets. I still remember that. It was classic. That is the only, and Maxwell seemed to be like so sensitive. Like he cannot, I can't, that's why I said I think it really hurt him that black women were like in droves turning against him. They were mad. They were hot at Maxwell. And I think Maxwell did not know. So I can't imagine. This is why I name all these controversies. Because this is how much Max has been in the blogs. Not much. Okay? And I can't imagine him getting with Janet and opening himself up to so much shit. It's gonna be I don't know why you would do it. It just feels like that would get him after a while. Because if that little controversy got to him, I can't imagine him living in a world of Janet Jackson. In the world of Janet. And I think Janet knows that. Janet would probably be like, he's a nice guy, very sexy, very fine. You know, but could he handle the scrutiny of Janet Jackson's world? I don't know. This is, like I said, this is a guy that's hardly in the blogs. Hardly ever. They speculate on his sex life all the time. Only time they speculate on Maxwell being straight or gay all the time, right? You know what I'm saying? Even some people say that he had, people make up stories about, you even hear the controversy about the Pretty Wings, about the, what's that album? That one, it's the second part of, here's a big rumor that's been around for years. And I would ask Maxwell if I had an interview. I so would, because I don't like to ask questions that everybody else today. There was rumors that his album, like the second album, was supposed to be like a sexless album or something like that, like kind of like the internet has, and that Sony did not want him to release it. That's another controversy that's been out there about Maxwell, and that it was implying Maxwell. People were back to implying Maxwell bisexual. And all that. Maxwell has always had this stuff, and he's very sensitive to it. So imagine opening up those can of worms when you get with Janet Jackson. I can't imagine. I think what happened is they got together. Here, if they are dating, here's two things I think. I don't think they're dating, first of all, because I think Janet sees the light. I think Janet's smart in this. I'm like, can this guy handle this? I don't think he can. But secondly, I'll say this. I think that if they are dating, there's a pullback on it to say, just chill. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't know if you're ready for this. Even though he's a big star, he is a big star with very few controversies. And the controversy he's always meeting are usually the same controversies that are in the blogs that people know of. He cracks, if he gets with Janet Jackson and he gets with Janet publicly out loud, every week they add something, every day they add something, man, he's going to open himself up to so much scrutiny. He going to open the crack of the door. They're going to be every little person he done dated. They ain't going to do it yet. Like, all right, if you got chicks out here, let me just say this, Maxwell. If you got chicks out here in area codes, I got hoes in different area codes. They gonna be finding them. But they been quiet under NDAs. You ain't seen. See, they ain't been offered no TMZ money. I'm eating in y'all ear. Y'all know how I like to do. See, they ain't been. Let's ask Eric Benet. Shit. Eric Benet was living his life quietly singing. I mean, I can't compare Eric Benet because at the time Eric Benet wasn't as popular. His first album that came out, he was becoming a big R&B star. People was loving him. He was sexy. People was feeling him. Everybody was like, "Damn, Eric Benet, fun." All the women was going off and everything. And he had that song, "Touch Me When I Feel You." People was comparing him to Maxwell. Feminine, Maxwell, you need to bring him on a cruise. Remember when Eric Benet was at? Remember we had the barefoot, when he was barefoot with the dreads, and what's that song? Hello baby, how you been? It's good to see you. Something again. Well, I forget the song. It was old, but everybody was feeling Eric Benet, and I knew when Eric Benet started dating Halle Berry, I was like, no. Because he had just become a brand new early superstar, okay? Little different from Max. Max is established and a superstar already in R&B. But Eric was becoming a superstar. He hadn't got there yet, but it stopped him. The marriage to Halle Berry, because what happens is the marriage to Halle Berry cracks open that light. And Eric Benet thought he was safe for a minute. Oh, God. She wasn't at an Oscar. I got hoes in different area codes. They started to hold a hoe, sold a story to the Enquirer. Was it the Enquirer? I can't remember. I think it was the Enquirer. Right after she had won that award, too. Can't come to find out, Eric had so many bitches that, I mean, he had to say, I got sexual addiction problems. Allegedly. This is why I cheat on Halle Berry. And oh my God, his career got torn they tore Eric's career apart. Eric listen, Eric is just now coming. Eric been good, just been good the last 6 or 7 years from that man. Eric is one of the most consistent dudes in R&B who delivers good albums every time. I ain't never heard a bad Eric Benet album ever. But when that man released that, what's that album, Hurricane? Y'all ignored that Hurricane. Y'all dropped Eric Benet. Y'all was treating, he's a cheater. He cheating. But see, that's the dynamics that come with dating somebody who is so much more huge than you. You can't sneak around with no hoes if you're going to date Janet, y'all. Ask Jermaine Dupri. Who else? Renee wasn't sneaking around with no hoes. Now, Renee, they say, allegedly, I don't know, they said Renee was about to drop a book. Remember when they said Renee was about to drop a book on Janet? When Janet said Renee had been with Janet for years. The rumors was Janet had to pay Renee's ass off, okay? And it's a lot of tea about what Renee was supposed to say. I ain't gonna tell y'all the tea, because the tea is, y'all gotta find out. But it was tea. Okay, it was tea. It was lots of it. Okay? And Janet said, damn that, you ain't releasing no book. And, you know, I'll tell y'all that Renee was saying he wrote Velvet Rope. I'm telling you, do you really want to smoke, Maxwell? Do you really want to smoke? I don't know if he wants to smoke. I actually don't think Maxwell wants that kind of smoke. I think Maxwell is like, wait a minute. I mean, I like you. You're good looking. But how my life shifts, how they go back and revisit all my crapadoodle like I'm doing tonight. You don't want it. You don't want it. You know what? They yet ain't still ready to talk about you, Maxwell. They still ain't ready to talk about you because they're going to sneak you. They're going to sneak around and follow you now. They're going to sneak you. That's what they're going to be doing. They're going to be TMZ. All of the people are going to be sneaking around, following Maxwell and trying to find out what the tea is. Okay? And see if you're really dating Janet Jackson or not. Like if you're coming out of Janet Jackson's loft in Paris, or you know what I'm saying, or if you're coming out of Janet Jackson's apartments in Trump Towers or something like that in New York, or they're going to watch you for a few months, okay? If you had a Janet Jackson party and you snuggled up with Janet, they're going to be looking at you. Y'all have opened up the Pandora's box. What was it, Pandora's? Not Pandora's. The newspaper Pandora box. The blogger Pandora box. So I think this relationship is a no-go for long term. Could they do it? Yes, but I think they would have to do it like Renee and Janet did. It'd have to be secret for many, many years. You gotta always ask yourself, do you want to smoke? Like if you get ready to date a famous man today, like women, you know what I'm saying? You think about you not famous. Maxwell's famous, but Maxwell's been private. Like he's seriously private. So you got, like I said, I can't even get to 10 controversies. I named several controversies and I can't get to 10 on my hand that this man done had. I can't get, because he ain't out there like that. And most of them was little spats. But can you imagine, like you dating somebody, you got to start thinking, I have to be thinking, I'd be like, my God, what would I be thinking about? You know, Lenny Kravitz, you know, I'm free, I get free suddenly. Lenny Kravitz out in these streets and like, yo, yeah, let's get together. I'd be like, my crazy ass family. I got to think about a lot of shit. I can get my ass in shape. Run around, quit eating the bonbons. Ice cream. Barbecue ribs. Beef. I'd have the shit. Come on, vegan. and get ready to live this Hollywood life, be a mystery, creeping in and out of Lenny's Paris estate with my shades on, taking a walk of shame, and a scarf on so y'all won't know who I am. And then you find out who I am. Oh my God. Then you start digging. Oh, she had a little radio show? What she done said? His publicists be calling me. Oh my God, what are you talking about? What have you said? Oh my God, he can't date you. I mean, you're crazy. What have you been talking about? Did you actually have a show about Michael Jackson being alive? Oh shit. Wait a minute. Hold on. Did you actually get on here on the internet and talk about Beyonce? Hey, ma'am, I don't know. Listen, Lenny and you need to rethink this. That's what would happen. It's so hard to date probably fame. It's such a hard challenge. And that alone, when you're a famous person, it helps when you're a famous person already. But oh my God, what if you're just you've managed to just be super private like Maxwell, like super private. Like I even say Jay-Z and like a lot of people say, oh, Jay-Z and Beyonce's private. I said, no, they're not. Figuratively, they are private. Meaning they don't feed y'all, but other people around, their atmosphere feeds you. You know, their atmosphere feeds about speculation feeds you. Rumors about old relationships, rumors about those things feed you. Same thing with Janet Jackson. Even though there's a notoriously private, she doesn't give it to you. Other things feed you. With the guy like Maxwell, he has not had those things. Too many things feed you. He really is just, I'm gonna just be honest. He really just famous on his own damn music for his music and shit. Like he ain't really got, like y'all really just like him. Y'all really just like his music. Y'all just really like who he is as a singer and an artist and everything. And you might speculate on his shit, but that's how you doing. He really is like, you don't really be knowing what Maxwell be doing. Maxwell be quiet about in these streets. Now I've seen a few people that seen him at certain parties and stuff, and they tell me stuff. But other than that, man, he's a notorious. Janet, I don't think it would work. I think he'd be like, God damn, I was out. I just went to I went to go get a drink, and they was there. Paparazzi. Yeah, I don't think you're ready for it. I don't think you're ready for that smoke. That's some smoke right there. All right. Okay. I said earlier that we were going to talk about, this is 2 stories we got left I want to hit on today. It says, today will be the shortest day in history as Earth's rotation unexpectedly speeds up. And this is according to the Daily Mail. It says, scientists have warned that Wednesday could be the shortest day of your life as Earth's accelerating rotation is expected to move quicker than ever. They found that 3 days this summer, July 9th, July 22nd, and August 5th, are expected to be between 1.3 and 1.5 milliseconds shorter than the standard day. This is because Earth's rotation. Okay, where is it? Oh, goodness. Okay, this is because Earth's rotation sped up in recent years, with scientists observing the phenomenon on atomic clocks in 2020 and 2022. These clocks are incredibly accurate machines that keep time by measuring the vibrations of atoms. Although the exact reason is still a mystery, scientists believe there could be several factors that are making the Earth spin faster, including changes in atmosphere, the melting of glaciers, motion in the Earth's core, and a weakening magnetic field. Earth normally takes 24 hours or exactly 86,400 seconds to complete one full rotation, which is called a solar day. The fastest day recorded so far was 1 year ago on July the 5th, 2024, when the Earth spun 1.66 milliseconds faster than the standard 24 hours. While today's shortened day seems insignificant, Researchers have found that the time change can affect everything from satellite systems and GPS accuracy to how we measure time itself. Okay. Earth's rotation has never been perfect, as it shifts by tiny amounts throughout time, getting a few milliseconds faster or slower. However, scientists didn't start keeping exact records of these changes until the 1970s. For the latest estimates of Earth's spin, Graham Jones, an astrophysics at the University of London, used information from the U.S. Naval Observatory and the International Earth Rotation Services. Atomic clocks track the numbers of measuring what's called length of day, or LOD. That's the time it takes the Earth to rotate once, down to the millisecond. Even tiny changes in the day length matters. GPS phone networks and financial systems rely on split-second accuracy. A shift of just a few milliseconds can cause technical glitches, okay? Before the recent acceleration in Earth spin, the planet was actually slowing down due to the moon's gravitational pull, which has been stretching out our days into 24-hour cycles we now live by in modern time. Okay, and it says geoscientist Stephen Myers, a professor at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, found that as the moon moves further away, its changing gravitational impact on Earth with slowing make days incrementally longer. Myers predicted that days on our planet could eventually become 25 hours long, but noted it would take about 200 million years. As for why Earth has sped up since 2020, natural forces like climate change may be playing a role in the planet's spin. Okay. Now, I will say this. You guys can read the rest of this article on Daily Mail, so it's very interesting. I put in End Times News. The reason I put in End Times News is if you're a Bible fan, if you know anything about the Bible, it's very interesting because it says that, what does it say? Let me look it up. Okay. I'm gonna look up this particular scripture, okay? Because I love, if you guys, so to my YouTube audience, new YouTube audience, I love Bible stories. I love Bible things. I often talk about Bible, even though I'm a cusser, you know what I'm saying? But I love the Bible, so I often talk about stories and Bibles and stuff like that, even in our motivational stuff, okay? But it says, if this is from Matthew 24:22, okay? So check this out. This is the Bible talking about the end times, right? It says, if those days had not been cut short, no one would survive, but for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. King James Version for those who like the King James. And except those days should be shortened, there should be no flesh be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened, saying that the times would be so crazy, so evil, that God would have to shorten the days so that you could survive the deception coming on the earth. Child, y'all need to read. Oh, and look at what, look, scientists is catching up to the Bible. Science is catching up to the Bible. Child, okay? Just I had to read that. I had to let y'all get on that story. Crazy, okay? All right, let me give y'all this other story, which I love this story, okay? And remember, we talked several weeks ago about Jasmine Crockett talking about, don't nobody money. What she was saying, no, we ain't picking no cotton no more, and just kind of talking about black people not being in like agricultural and farming. And I was like, how stupid. We definitely need to be in that, okay? So this article, I think, is really good, talking about, I saw today. Let me pull it up here. Okay. Let me share this tab for y'all can see it. It says in the Mississippi Delta. Can y'all see this? Hopefully, let me look at y'all. See if y'all looking at it. Okay. Yeah, you guys can see it. Okay. It says in the Mississippi Delta, black farmers are rebuilding the legacy of land ownership. Okay. They are reviving the mission of an association of black churches that fed and educated black families after the Civil War. This is from Jonestown, Mississippi. It says, has Pastor Benny Brown said, and this article is from capitalnews.org, okay? And it says, has Pastor Bernie Brown sat in the bright red pews of St. James Missionary Baptist Church just a few feet away from the podium where he preaches every Sunday, the 71-year-old former recalled feeling the spiritual presence of the ancestors. The church is located in Jonestown, an all-black rural town in the Mississippi Delta, about 12 miles north of Clarksdale and 67 miles south of Memphis, Tennessee. Today, the church serves as a place for traditional worship, but for the community's ancestors, it began as a brush or a hush harbor. It was a secluded meeting place for those who were enslaved to pray and cry for liberation. They constructed several additional churches and also functioned as hush harbors. Just a few miles from St. James lies the building where after the Civil War, where these black churches founded the Swan Lake Association. As black land ownership declines and black farmers represent less than 1% of the nation's more than 3.3 million producers. Brown and others are on a quest to train up the next generation of farmers in the Delta. Woo, shout out to them. I love this because I was saying black people, black American people should, that is our history. Our ancestors used to know the land, had farms. My great-great-grandfather had a farm. Both my great-great-grandparents had, great-great-grandfathers had a farm on both my paternal and maternal side, okay? Well, no, definitely on my maternal side. Paternal, I don't know for sure. Okay, his father benefited from the Swan Lake Association, which was founded by 17 Baptist churches in 1870. The mission to build community support for black people in the Delta through education, agriculture, and ministry. They also wanted to help them lease and buy land so that they could build wealth on their own farms. However, over the years, the mission has faltered, and if there is no revival, the work of the elders to build up the association, which now consists of only 8 churches, may be non-existent. Brown says he won't let it happen. I became one of the elders myself, and the legacy that I've been talking about now has to be protected, and that has to be a reverence by me, he said. I'm the one now who's in charge, and so if I don't do it, then it's not going to get done. After 57 years on a nearby plantation where Brown was born, his father moved to Jonestown, bringing with him an 8-year-old Brown and his siblings. Within 5 years of becoming a part of Swan Lake, his father, who had a 3rd grade education, leased about 75 acres. Bought a home and launched multiple businesses, including a service station, cafe, and store, Brown said. He achieved the association mission, successfully transitioning from a sharecropper to leasing land. I didn't realize at the time how radical it was. The idea of now leasing land felt more independent, but it also felt more responsibility for the family to really make things happen, to work harder to produce, Brown said. We could determine our destiny. We were in charge. For decades, black farmers have faced systematic barriers to access land and resources, and well-documented discrimination by the federal government, for sure, particularly the United States Department of Agriculture. It has resulted in the decline of black farmers nationwide. Tariffs, USDA office closures, and federal funding freezes brought on by President Donald Trump and his administration haven't improved the environment for black farmers, leaving many in a state of uncertainty. These factors have jeopardized the livelihood and businesses of some farmers. And also, it's not just Donald Trump, but it's the fact that a Democrat like Jasmine Crockett gets up there and says, well, we ain't picking God no more. We ain't, like kind of shoos away the idea of black people doing work on farms and agricultural work. There's a lot of good money and good things in agricultural work. That's crazy. Okay, but it says, and there's nobody fighting for these farmers on either side like they used to be, okay? Brown and other Delta farmers told Capital B they remain focused in their work in agriculture, undeterred by the current political climate and the elimination of federal grants. He says he has faith and black people have seen these type of attacks on their livelihood before, given this country's history. But this, we got to quit blaming Donald Trump. This has been the reason it becoming 1% farmer didn't just stop under Donald Trump. This has been going on for decades by both parties ignoring the black farmer. Okay. Whether the interest in aquaculture, raising hogs and chickens, and growing sun beans and vegetables, they try to teach black folks how to farm. Shit, I need to probably go down there and learn how to farm. I'm thinking my ass need to farm. The way things is going around here, we all might need to learn some. We wouldn't know how to survive like our ancestors did. They knew how to survive. I mean, we probably 50 to 60 years out from understanding how to survive and farm, like having our own farming and everything that they used to do back in the day. I used to go to Arkansas to my great great grandfather's farm, and play outside and everything like that. I mean, we are so far removed from that. That was in the 70s. We are so early 80s, so far removed. So it's a very interesting article. Y'all, please go take a look at it. But it's talking about in the Mississippi Delta, black farmers are rebuilding the legacy of land ownership. And they're also trying to teach farming again, which is so important. That's why I said there is nothing wrong with our children even investing and majoring in agriculture and all that stuff in school. If your schools have it, because some schools have agricultural majors and stuff like that. Listen, I mean, it's a great thing to know and to have, especially in this day and time. And there's so much going on. The black farmer has always been under attack in America, okay? So, it's really time for us to make a comeback. But what we have to understand is it's not just in politicians. We have to have we have to have pressure on politicians to be able to fight for us in these spaces. I mean, really fight. Otherwise, we need to dump them out of there. Okay? So very interesting. I wanted to share that, and so that's a very important thing. And it's really cool to hear that they are bringing that. I just talked about that a few weeks ago, so it's wonderful to see that. Okay. Okay. Now we're gonna get into some other stories. One more story. I thought it was two more, but let me see. Is it okay? I think I want to talk about. Am I ending it with Beyonce? I think I am. Okay. Okay, this is from rhymeswithsnitch.com. It says, Tina knows shades Nicki Minaj. Okay, it says over the past few days, rapper Nicki Minaj has been spiraling on social media, lashing out at Jay-Z, Megan Thee Stallion, and Roc Nation. Tina Knows shares a timely post about artists losing their minds. Okay, is that her shading? I don't know. I thought she was talking more about Beyonce. Okay. But it says repost from at Beyonce, Jay-Z, Tina Knows the Carters. Miss Tina says, "Wow, I reposted this because it was talking about our relationship. It had nothing to do with anyone other than me and Beyonce. Please stop being messy and dragging me into something that I don't have anything to do with. You guys should be ashamed. And all the bots are ridiculous." Okay, so people were saying Miss Tina was saying that is not true. I didn't think it was. I was like, I didn't think it was.
It's so easy to get confused, and it's so easy for you to get lost and just be so unhappy. And I've had moments where I just felt like it was too much, It's not like I haven't been through it, but I'm always able to get back to myself because of you and because of the profound woman that you are. It's because of you. It's because of you. It's because of you.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I thought this was just talking about her mama. Here's what I'll say on this. Okay, what I saw on this is, I'm gonna say something. Okay, I'm really gonna say something. I think Beyonce be going through. I think Beyonce is probably. I've said this before. I think there's a lot of stuff going on there, okay? I don't even know why y'all making this woman going out on this tour. She been out here on the tour having fun. I personally believe Beyonce's over show business a little bit. She seems over it. But she is a Scorpio moon. I bet she deals with bouts of strong depression. A lot going on there. If you look at this tape, I was like, oh Lord, I was pretty, I'm like, oh, maybe we need to put her on the prayer list, okay? But this is beautiful that she shared this about her mama. That she got her mama there. Because, it's a lot of energy that comes at you being a celebrity. You know what I'm saying? You get a lot of energy. That's why I said, Maxwell, you sure you want to open yourself up to this Janet shit? Ooh, Lord, have mercy. Okay. But, it's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's really tough. All the energy that comes at you. We bloggers are out here. We looking and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? We talking about it. It's an interesting thing. So yeah, I thought this was interesting, but I don't. But yeah, Miss Tina is saying it has nothing to do with Nicki Minaj. I don't think Nicki Minaj is losing her mind. Nicki Minaj sounds like she is airing out her grievances with Roc Nation, okay, and Jay-Z, okay. So yeah, I don't think that's it, okay. All right, you guys. So okay, I feel like I've come to the end of the show. Remember, you can hit me up on the Carlotta Chatwod Facebook page. You can also hit me up on Twitter on CChatodshow and Carlotta72. Those are both my Twitter accounts. Then there is Instagram, Carly's with an S _ Galaxy. Okay. And there's the link to Threads on there also. Then you can also hit me up on Keisha Carlotta on TikTok. Okay. You guys, I hope you have a rest of your a good night for you have a good week. The week is going by. Everything's going by so fast. But thank you for hanging out with me. I may try to have a show this weekend. I'm not sure. I'm supposed to be on break. I'm supposed to be resting. Okay, but y'all, everybody sending me Janet Jackson and Maxwell inboxes. I gave a long dissertation tonight. A long dissertation about how I feel about Maxwell and Janet. I hope it pleases you all. If you disagree with me, you feel free to put it in the comments on YouTube or on the Carlotta Chatwod Facebook page, okay? Thank you guys for hanging out with me. I hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful rest of your week. I'm out. See y'all. Let me leave y'all with this little electric music. What y'all want to hear? What we going to listen to? Let's do the daydreaming. All right, I'm out. See y'all.